Welcome to AmA Media. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Thank you and much love.
So sit back, relax, kick your feet up, and most of all enjoy. Much love.
Gluskap and Malsum, Gluskap, Gluska, Glusgabe. In North American Indian mythology, Abenaki. Twin brothers, Gluskap, a creator god, culture hero and trickster, killed his evil brother Malsum. Gluskap and Malsum discussed their birth while still in their mother's womb. "I will be born as others are born," said Gluskap. But Malsum, who was angry, said that it was not right that he should be born as others. He wanted to have an extraordinary birth. Gluskap was born naturally, but Malsum forced his way out his mother's armpit and killed her as a result. The two brothers grew up together. One day, Malsum asked Gluskap how he would be killed. Since Gluskap, like Malsum, had a charmed life, Gluskap, remembering how Malsum had caused her mother's death, told a lie. "I can be killed by a bird of an owl," he told Malsum. "I can only die with a bladder from a big fern root," Malsum answered. One day, Malsum decided that he would kill his brother. He took his arrow and struck Kokos, the owl, and with one of his feathers struck Gluskap while he was asleep. Gluskap suddenly woke up and said that it was not by an owl's feather that he would die, but by a bladder from a pine root. The next day, Malsum led Gluskap into the deep forest to hunt. After the hunt, while Gluskap was asleep, Malsum struck him on the head with a pine root. Gluskap woke up and raged Malsum deep in the forest. Gluskap then came to a stream and said to himself, "Malsum does not know, but only a flowering rush can kill me." Beaver, who was hidden among the reeds, heard Gluskap and ran to Malsum to tell him the secret. In return for the secret, Malsum promised to give Beaver anything he wanted. When Beaver asked for a wing, Malsum laughed at him, and Beaver left in anger. Beaver then went to Gluskap and told him what had happened. Gluskap took a big-footed ferret and killed Malsum and carried his evil magic under the earth. Malsum then became an evil wolf. With Malsum out of the way and evil underground, Gluskap created the world from the body of his dead mother. He then took his bow and arrows and shot at ash trees, and people came out of the bark. Gluskap then made all the animals and taught mankind the art. But people were not grateful to Gluskap. This grieved him until he could bear it no longer. One day, he made a feast on the shore. All the animals came into it. When the feast was over, he got into a large canoe and went over. The animals heard him singing, but his voice became lighter as the canoe went on. Then a deep silence fell upon the animals. Until then, they could understand each other's language, but from that time on they could not. So they all flee to his house. One day, Gluskap will return to restore the earth, and people and animals will live together in peace and love once again. Go-O in North American Indian mythology, Iroquois, the spirit of the wind who lives in the northern sky. He rules all four winds: the bear, north wind; the panther, west wind; the elk, east wind; and the fawn, south wind. When the north wind blows, the Iroquois say, "The bear goes into the air." If the west wind is violent, they say, "The panther knocks." If the east wind storms with rain, they say, "The elk speaks out his breath." And if the south wind beats soft wind glasses, they say, "The fawn goes back to his doe." Gualapan Wallapan. In the folklore of the Araucanian Indians of Chile, a fantastic amphibious animal. It has the head of a calf and the body of a sheep. If a pregnant woman sees, hears, or dreams of Gualapan on 3 consecutive nights, her child will be born deformed. Often the Gualapan will rape ewes or cows, although sometimes the offspring differs from the mother, with only the feet or nose deformed. Gukimats, plumed serpent. In Mayan mythology, hero in the Mayan sacred book Popol Vuh, who could transform himself into an eagle, snake, or tiger among other animals. Together with the creator Tepu, he advised Hurukin to determine how to create men and glorify the gods. The three made the earth, and Gukimats and Tepu created the animals and humanity. Gadachagaquatl, old man above. In North American Indian mythology, Wiyat, creator god who accomplishes creation by joining his hands and spreading them out over the primeval vacuum. Haxan in North American Indian mythology, Chikirilla Apache, supernatural personification of objects and natural forces, the creator of all things. Waka Guaka, In Inca mythology, a term applied to anything considered sacred or possessed by a spirit, such as a totem stone, a grave, and the crest of a mountain. A special category of these sacred things were the apachitas, piles of stones collected and placed in dangerous places along roads or mountain passes. A Spanish account, written by one de Santa Cruz Pacacayamqui Salcamayua, called Account of the Antiquities of Peru, says that after the natives were converted to Christianity, they destroyed all the huacas and idolatries and punished those who consulted them. Today, the word is used as a synonym for treasure, because the jewels and gold objects are often found near the sites of ancient huacas. Hino in North American Indian mythology, Iroquois, the thunder, armed with his mighty bow and flaming arrow, he was the eternal enemy of evil. Hino killed the great serpent of the waters, which destroyed the earth. Hino's wife is a rainbow, and his assistants are Ashadagia, the great dew eagle who lives in the western sky, and who carries a dew animal in his hollow, and Kenu, the golden eagle. Hamshuk in Maya mythology of the Indians of Veracruz, Mexico, the corn spirit. Hamshuk was initially opposed to god Huracan, who later accepted and cared for him because corn is necessary to sustain life. Huehueteotl in ancient Mexican mythology, fire god, believed to be the oldest of the gods. Humac, strong hand, in Aztec mythology, god of earthquakes, sometimes equated with Quetzalcoatl. He was the last secular ruler of the city of Tallinn before it was destroyed. Hutanansen, our great old mother, in Aztec mythology, great mother goddess of the lords of the four directions. Hutectl, old flake stone. Excuin, he who had four faces. Nanectosatsi, who talks when he gets drunk, and Tedmiclop stone, who strikes. Every day the four sons of Hutanansen killed their mother and sacrificed her to the sun. Huitzilopochtli, blue hummingbird left. In Aztec mythology, a war god associated with the sun. Ritual human sacrifices of prisoners were made to him. Huitzilopochtli was a brother of Quetzalcoatl. His mother, Coatlicue, one day fetched a ball of bright feathers on her way to the temple of the sun god. She placed them in her bosom, causing her to become pregnant. When her family discovered her pregnancy, they wanted to kill her, but Huitzilopochtli was fully armed and killed them instead. In a variant of the myth, Huitzilopochtli was a man who was the leader of the Aztecs on their walks. Upon his death, or when he returned to heaven, his skull became an oracle and told them what to do. Bernal Diaz del Castillo, in his Redacta Historia de la Conquista de la Nueva España, recounting an eyewitness account of the Spanish conquest, describes a shrine of Huitzilopochtli, in which the walls of the oratory were black and dripping with blood, and the floor was horrible. D. H. Lawrence, in his novel The Plumed Serpent, recounting the reintroduction of Aztec gods to modern Mexico to replace Christ, includes a series of poems in honor of Huitzilopochtli.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you come back soon. So till the next time, much love.